All right. Can you guys see me? Or how are we doing here? Where are we at? How are we going? Let's make sure I got everything here. Okay, good. Good. Make sure I get this over here. And did you shower? I did, walking home, or walking in there earlier today. A rainy day keeps a shower away. All right. So today we have a couple of topics to go over. Usually I would save these things for my main stream. I'll talk about these tomorrow, but I want to make sure I get the video out because obviously the news just came out, and that's whenever the videos are going to be the most popular, right? And so, like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some stuff. Mainly what we're going to look at today is three different things. Number one is going to be Diablo Immortal. Number two, Twitter. Number three, the Blizzard financial earnings. So obviously there's a whole lot of stuff for us to get into and a lot of stuff for us to say. So let's start at the very beginning. Let's talk about Diablo Mobile, Diablo Immortal. Don't you guys have phones? And it turns out that some people don't, and so Blizzard heard that and they're making it for PC as well. That's fucking great. I'm very happy about this. I think this is something that a lot of people had wanted with Diablo Immortal. Like, this is something I've wanted. Is that, like, I want to try out the new Diablo Immortal game because it's a new Diablo game. I'm a big Diablo fan. So, like, yeah, I want to play the game, but I don't want to play on my phone. Like, I'm not a phone gamer. Like, the only mobile game that I have on my phone is Twitter. So I don't really give a shit about playing a game on my phone. It's just, it's annoying. It's like, it's like doing like this. Like, don't like it. So the fact that I could just go and sit and fucking play the game on my computer is great. I think this is a good decision. And it also probably indicates that the game is probably not going to be as pay to win or have as many, I don't know, energy systems as a lot of other mobile games have. So I think that's a good thing too. Just overall, I think this is a huge positive for Diablo Immortal, and it's a good decision by Blizzard. Now we'll talk about this a little bit more. Someone said in the chat, mobile games are cancer. Why are mobile games fundamentally cancer? Gentlemen, do we know why mobile games are cancer? Does anybody know why they're cancer? Why are they cancer? Pay to win, money, energy systems, payment systems, cash grab, capitalism, exploiting children, overly monetized. Can you play Lost Ark on your phone? It doesn't matter. Not yet. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. Like, these companies are, it's just because pay to win is more of a thing in mobile gaming right now doesn't mean that it's not going to be more of a thing in PC gaming in the future. I think we're going to be seeing this a lot more. We're going to be seeing more and more PC games that have energy systems, more and more PC games that have, these different ways to exploit money out of people. This is just what's going to happen. And people can fight against it, and I think that people have, in generally, they put up the good fight against NFTs, for example. I think gamers have unironically risen up, and they've, I think, pretty much slowed down the implementation of NFTs in gaming. But in my opinion, I feel like companies never really cared about having NFTs. Excuse me, fuck. They never really cared about having NFTs in games. They were only doing it as a marketing device. Many times, like, they were just doing it like, oh yeah, this cool new NFT thing, like, oh wow, look at this, it's so great. Now you can buy the item in this game and you own it, but you don't have a copyright to it. No, you don't have copyright. No, other people have the same thing, but no, but yours, but you do own it though, because it's, your own receipt. Like, this is the way it goes, right? And so why are they doing this? They're doing it to capitalize on a trend. It's the same reason why, like, games make VRs. It's the same reason why games, you see one game that's successful and you see a bunch of other games come out that are like a clone of that game. Like Vampire Survivors is an example of this. See Vampire Survivors release, it's very popular. Wow. 10 other developers see that and they're like, well, I'm going to make my own. And I'm going to call this Werewolf Survivors. And now the guy's a werewolf and he's fighting against vampires. Wow, look at this. It's crazy. And so this is just always what's going to happen. There's a squirrel. Where he be at? Oh, yeah, he over there. I see him. And so yeah, this is always the way things go. And so let's go over here. Yeah, Raccoon Survivors. So we got Diablo Immortal will release. I'm looking on this on Wowhead. Will release June 2nd, 2022 for PC and for phones, and it will feature full PC support at launch, which is a huge positive. I think this is great. I'm gonna play it. I am. I'm gonna play Diablo Immortal on June 2nd. It's I when it got announced, I never thought I was going to, but like here we are. Why the fuck not? I mean, we'll see what the new game is. Yeah, why not? And me too. Yeah, absolutely, man. Lost Ark 2.0, like you play Warcraft 3 Reforged. Yeah, but like that wasn't like I think everybody is expecting Diablo Immortal. Everybody is gonna play it because of all the drama surrounding it. They want to know. Like, I'm the same. I want to know, is it going to be good? Is it going to suck? Like, is it going to be, like, super overly monetized? Is, like, what's going to happen, right? Like, I'm very curious to see what this game is going to be like, because there hasn't really been a lot of leaks or beta testing about it. So it's like, is it just going to be awful or what? It's new content. Yeah, it's new fucking content, man. And so, yeah, anyway, let's see here. Open beta on PC will feature all game features such as crossplay, cross-progression, and upon conclusion, all progress will be maintained. I'm not really sure exactly how that works. Let's see here. 25-year franchise. Demons of the Burning Hells are ready to be slain by the most expansive Diablo game in Blizzard's ever released. That's great. As Blizzard's first game designed from the ground up for mobile, it's important for us to deliver an experience worthy of the franchise. So we did a lot of testing, incorporated a lot of feedback. And like, that's the thing. Like, here's what I'm kind of expecting is going to happen, and we'll see kind of some information about this in a minute, but I think that what's going to happen is that the game is not really going to have a lot of pay-to-win features in it on release, and this is usually how these games go. And it's like you have to get people like emotionally invested into the game. It's like whenever you're fishing and you have to get the fish like eating the bait, right? Just because it nibbles the bait a little bit. Well, you don't pull the hook right there, right? You want to wait for him to get his whole mouth in there, and then you fucking get him, and you get his jaw, you get him up on the boat, right? And then you eat the fish. So how are they going to eat the fish? Let's talk about that. It's simple. What they're going to do is they're just going to wait for people to, they're going to wait for people to, you know, get invested in Diablo Immortal. They're going to let them, you know, play the game and like it a lot. And then once people reach a certain level of progression, or once a new patch comes out, they will slowly implement things that are probably microtransactions over time in order to make more money off of the game as the amount of players either slowly declines or plateaus, because they've realized that they've reached the maximum amount of people that they're going to reach in order to really start sinking those teeth in to get that money. And like, that's what I think is going to happen. In a lot of ways, it's kind of what happened with Lost Ark. Is that Lost Ark is, you don't really need to do pay to win to level up. You don't really need to do pay to win in tier 1 and tier 2. When you really think about doing pay to win, you're talking about like tier 3. And by that time, you get to tier 3, like, oh, you've already played the game like 100, 200 hours. So you're invested in the game. And so that's the goal, right? Is you want to get people invested enough into it to where they feel like they have to pay the money to keep up because they're playing something that they enjoy. And that's the secret with getting people to spend money in these games. And so anyway, I think this is what Blizzard's probably going to do. You know, obviously, am I expecting Diablo Immortal to be as good of a Diablo experience as Diablo 3? I mean, to be fair, it's hard not to be. But we'll have to see. I'm not sure. But I'll play it out. I'll see what it's like. And if it's got pay-to-win aspects, I mean, shit. You know, we'll see what they are. I think that's it. I think that we're going to have more and more of this being the case, where different games have like more and more pay-to-win aspects, and people are just going to have to decide which pay-to-win aspects they're more okay with or less okay with. I'm not really sure, really. I mean, only time will tell. But I think that you're seeing the market already, you know, showing itself to be much more receptive to things that are pay-to-win. And you see this with, I think that the first game that really broke this mold was Genshin Impact. As soon as Genshin Impact came out and it was extremely successful, now I think this gave a lot of other companies a lot more confidence to add in pay-to-win to their games, because now they can just, they can do it, and there's people that are going to buy it and they're going to play it. Truth is, Genshin Impact is incredibly successful, and it's successful not because of pay to win, but it's successful despite pay to win. So having a success case, I think, gives a lot of other Western developers more confidence in developing a game that is more monetized, more heavily monetized. So yeah, that's what's going to happen, I think, and we can't really know. Let's read this right here, and I'm going to read. This is what they said about a little bit of the monetization of the game. Okay, Diablo Immortal will be free to play with optional in-game purchases, ensuring the core game experience will always be free. Developed by Blizzard Entertainment and NetEase, Diablo Immortal will be available at launch. And so let's talk a little bit about this. All players will receive, if you receive the stunning Horadrim cosmetic set to celebrate this significant milestone when the game launches. This is just the beginning, as new content will be released regularly to players and for free in the years to come, including new zones, dungeons, and character classes. So yeah, I think that the game is going to be pretty much free to play whenever it comes out, because Blizzard has to. The thing is that it's a smart thing for them to do to release it being completely free to play. The reason why it's a good thing for them to do, to release it to be full free to play, is that, again, you have to let people get their guard down, you have to win people over, and then you take advantage of them later on. Then you make money after them later on. But you have to initially figure out a way to kind of get them to get them in that point. And so I think that they have to win over people, and then they can take advantage of them, right? But you have to win them over first. It's the same as, like, in American Psycho, right? He brings the girl over. I mean, he doesn't. The first thing he doesn't pull out the axe right away, right? I mean, you get her to drink. You talk to her a little bit, put on some music, and then you get out the axe, right? Because you don't do that right on first, because then she's just gonna leave. So you have to get them to let their guard down. And that's what I think that a lot of these companies are going to do. I think this is what Blizzard's going to do with Diablo Immortal, and in my opinion, I think they're stupid if they don't. I think this is the successful way for doing it, right? Axe me, Blizzard. True. There it is. What do you think of Pact of Exile model of monetization? I think it's great. I have no problems with it. Interesting analogy, but I'm not wrong, am I? Let's see here. Because she's going to stay after? Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter at that point, because you already got what you wanted. That's what it is. And so, yeah, this is the way that I see it, and this is the way that I think it's going to go. Again, so with Diablo Immortal, just to kind of wrap this up and explain pretty much how I feel about it, I think this is good. It's in general a good thing, and I hope that Diablo Immortal is good. I really do. I'm a fan of Diablo, and I think it's in everybody's best interest. If you're a person who doesn't like mobile games, maybe it's also in your best interest to support a mobile game that you feel is fair and has monetization options that you think are more ethical. Because that way, if you're just categorically against all mobile games, then people won't try to make, if they know that they're never going to win, they won't play the game. So they're not going to try to make better mobile games with better monetization if they know that people are just not going to play them categorically. So, yeah, I mean, if it's a good game, I would recommend try it out, see what it's like, and if not, fuck it. We'll just wait for Diablo 4 or Path of Exile 2. Yet to see a fair mobile game? Yeah, it depends, man. Alright, I support mobile games, so if Blizz makes more mobile games. I don't think mobile games are bad, and I think mobile games are also such a huge industry. Whatever. To the chop, yeah, true. That's what it was. I'll play games on my phone, period. Well, the thing is, I know that this is one thing that happens a lot, and we have to keep this in mind, is that, a lot of us that are here, we're mainly 24 to 35-year-old guys. Really, especially, if you go down to, 20, most of my audience are people in this age group, right? That's just what it is. So whenever we say, oh, well, we don't give a fuck about phone games, Blizzard is not making Diablo Immortal for us. We are not the target audience of this. They are making a new game to create a new audience. So I mean, if like, there's a lot of us like, oh yeah, I don't play mobile games. I don't either, right? I'll try it out, see what it's like. I think making it on PC is a good decision. I want to just make sure I re-emphasize this again, is that PC Diablo Immortal is a good idea. I wanted this. I wanted this ever since the beginning. And people even asked this on the first day that Diablo Immortal got announced. They're like, okay, who was it? Was it like a Captain Llama, somebody like that? I forgot his name. Fucking, it was like one of the Diablo content creators. He asked, even there, he was like, well, are we going to be able to play this on PC? And Blizzard said, Fluffy Llama, yeah, Mr. Llama, whatever. Is like, yeah, y'all remember, like, that was him, right? That was him that asked the question, I think it was, about being able to play it on PC. And Blizzard at that time said no. They said, no, we're not going to be able to have it on PC. And now they've changed their mind. And I think this is a great thing. I'm very happy about this. And it's a huge positive. So, yeah, that's what I think. I'll read a few comments about Diablo Immortal, and then we'll move on. I think most games in the future should have scalability for all platforms. I'd love to see mobile applications for games. What's your opinion on play-to-earn games that's so popular nowadays, and it's NFTs popping off? I actually don't think they're that popular. I think that the play-to-earn games are really popular among NEETs because I think that they're going to become millionaires by playing video games. I was one of them with Diablo 3 Real Money Auction House. That's how I know. And it's just going to be another situation where people don't realize, like, if you're, like, there are people making money in play-to-earn games right now. Like, let's say that's going to happen. Whenever these games get a lot bigger, what economy is not imbalanced towards the top? Where, you know, the Bernie Sanders quote, can you believe that 1% of the population has 87% of the wealth? In what kind of a country should we have that? It's the same. It's the same in every fucking economy. It's the same in like, there's the guy, the Chads that hook up with all the girls, and then there's the fucking the viewers of my stream that don't have a girlfriend, right? And then also you've got in every economy there's like massive imbalances of wealth. It's just what happens. It's just what fucking happens. So like, I think that a lot of people that like care about these free to play to earn games, these are people who have already failed in life in many regards. These are people who are failing out of community college, and they're thinking that they can play this pay-to-earn game or play-to-earn game and they're going to make a lot of money off of it. You're fucking stupid. You're not going to make any money. That's why you haven't done it already. I think you're going to see people come into these games that are much more successful, much smarter with what they're doing, and they're just going to wipe these clowns out. Like, that's just what's going to happen. It's what happens every time. It's what's happened in Warcraft too. It's what's happened in anything. Once you introduce a money incentive, a profit incentive, you have people in there who are there to make money, and these people make money for a living. And the other guys that we're talking about with anime profile pictures, talking about they bought an NFT for, you know, 71 cents, and now it's worth $71. This kid thinks he's Elon Musk nowadays. No, he's not going to have a chance. So I think pay-to-earn games and the implementation of them, the same rationalization for allowing a person to work 10 hours a day for $3 is, you know, you can say, well, that's a lot of money in their country. And yes, I agree, and that's why we have sweatshops. So it's the same type of logic. I don't think it's really going to go that far, but I think that we will see a few games that really try it out, and you'll see some level of success, although I think it will be a mirage. People will, the closer they get to making money at it, the more that they'll realize that they're wasting their time. So that's what I think is going to happen. Pay to earn is usually third world countries where people get entrapped on pay to earn systems. Exactly, yeah, that's what it's going to be. And again, I think a lot of these people that think that they're going to make a ton of money on it are just like stupid kids, and they don't understand that there's going to be people that are a lot smarter than me, right? And it's like, you think about like Susan Express, like these other video game companies, and if you actually watch the interviews with the people that run these like gold buying companies and these like gold selling companies, these guys are really smart. They're a lot fucking smarter than some kid that's going to community college and thinks he's going to make a living on pay-to-earn games. And they're going to completely fucking demolish you. And they're going to drive the prices down so much because of their optimization that you farming in the game will just simply not be an effective use of your time. That's just the truth. That's what's going to happen. And that's what happens with everything. more competition equals a lower margin, especially with people that can operate at scale. And again, it's a large economies rule. It's like, how do you make money? It's like you have to have like different types of like amortization schedules of like, okay, if you have an account that's botted and it's going for like, 10 hours, how much money do you make versus how much money do you spend? Electricity costs, like all this stuff. Like, these people are thinking on a completely different level than somebody who has an NFT as their profile picture on Twitter. They're just going to get demolished. Like, they're just going to get fucking demolished. They won't even have a chance. So yeah, I don't think pay-to-earn games really have much of a future in terms of like helping people out. What else about Diablo Immortal? We'll move on after that. Finance for the gear they use? Yep, exactly. Absolutely. Don't forget that if it hits off in China, that alone will carry Diablo Immortal. If it hits off in India, that alone will carry Diablo Immortal. I mean, really, the reason why mobile games are so great is that in many regards, they don't cost as much money to develop than a full-scale PC game. Like, I mean, who wants to guess that Diablo Immortal is going to cost less to develop than Diablo 4? Obviously. And it's the same as the Fallout mobile game is probably going to be selling, or is going to be probably cheaper to make than the Fallout game that they made for PC or for console last time. So because of that, you have a game that operates on a fundamentally smaller scale, and it takes less money to develop. And at the same time, you have stronger monetization options. You have less expectations from a consumer base. It's like a perfect way that you can make money. Like, honestly, if I was younger now, I would be inventing NFTs and designing phone games. I would be designing phone games that are, I would be like talking with my dad about like, okay, like, what do you know about psychology? Like, how can I get this stupid kid to put his mom's credit card information in there one more time? And like, my dad and I would probably have like a 3-hour conversation about it, and he'd be so proud of me, and it'd be great, that's pretty much where we'd be at. So, this is what I would do if I wasn't streaming, if I was a younger guy nowadays. I think that if you're a young guy right now, you have so many incredible fucking opportunities, and I think the internet has given so many young guys like this massive wealth of possibility. Like, I think about what it was like whenever I was younger, and it was really good whenever I was younger too, right? Because like, I was able to make money and shit like this online too. But like now, like, holy fuck. Like, you can, oh my god, you're doing, yeah, you just say now? I exist in the system. But I think it's a young white guy's fixed it. Wait, so you think, oh yeah, that's right. If somebody makes an NFT and it turns out that they're black, nobody buys the NFT. That's totally right. Why don't you stop watching MSNBC? Let's just dial it down a notch or two, okay? Like, that's just really not the way things work, okay? It's really not too late for anyone to change. Yeah, true. It's just silly. Now it's harder because everyone's trying to do it. That's the thing. You want perfect time whenever it was a niche. Oh, yes, you do. But the thing is, like, I've always approached things, and this is the way a lot of these mobile game developers work, and it's also a lot of the way these angel investment companies work too. So like, you guys don't really understand this. Like, basically, there are these investment companies that they will invest a lot of money into like any metaverse project, like anything, right? They'll invest like, oh, like this guy says he's going to do a metaverse project, and he's going to exist in a metaverse. Oh, really? Here's $10 million. Oh, metaverse? Here's $5 million. Metaverse, and you're already an established company? Here's $100 million. And they're throwing money away. And the reason for that is they're not throwing it away. They're making gambles. They're making gambles because they are gambling that one of them will pop off. And that's what people do with cryptocurrency too, is they invest in it as a speculative asset, hoping that it will go up in value in 10 years, above the rate of inflation, because that's just what people do. So you see this constantly happening. And yes, you're right, there's going to be a lot more competition, but there's also a lot more possibilities. There's a lot more tools. Accessibility is much higher. Like developing an app, the amount of like for example, if you want to learn coding, like when I was 18, let's say, for example, it was harder to find information about coding than it is now. Like nowadays, I mean, you have like websites that are dedicated towards teaching you and like having you learn these things. The accessibility is just off the charts nowadays, and people don't realize this. It's very saturated. It is. And that's why you have to keep taking a shotgun approach, a buckshot approach. Release 10 games a year. Release 20 games a year. You know, if you're not that kind of person and you're looking to try to just make one really good game, look at Ponkel, for example. He's the guy who developed Vampire Survivors. My understanding is that he's made many other games in the past, and they have never seen the level of success that Vampire Survivors has. You just got to keep swinging. And eventually, if you're talented and you work hard, you've got a good chance of hitting. And if you don't work hard, and you're not talented, and you're not trying to better yourself, there's a guarantee that you're not going to hit. So it's important to keep that in mind. So yeah, I'm going to get him on soon. I sent him a message. I might message him on the other account. I just don't want to annoy him, you know what I mean? Because I know he's busy, you know, like making a video game. So yeah, I haven't gotten a response back yet. He might just not check his DMs though. He probably gets messaged constantly. The engines do a lot of coding for you. Back in my day, you actually had to learn to write the full code. Yeah, I know. They're actually, I worked with a more rudimentary version on this whenever I was in college back in the day, where it was able to take different flowchart logic design and then implement that into coding. And like now, as far as I know, it's like way, way, way fucking better, because it was basically like an inverse way of teaching people coding. And so yeah, I've seen this stuff a lot of times. Something in your eyebrow? There we go. Yeah, we're good. Shit in your eyebrow? Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. Let's see, right? There's some white stuff up there, maybe, I don't know. And yeah, we're good. That's how Unreal works. Yeah, I don't really know a lot of the details, but like all I'm saying is like the accessibility for it right now is at an all-time high. Like it's never been more accessible, and as long as you have an internet connection, you have every ability in the world to learn how to do this. And it's incredible to think about. But yeah, so like mobile games are going to be like way more popular. You have like the if you look at like the breakdown in the market of like how many billions of dollars are spent on mobile games versus like a PC or a console game, holy shit. Mobile games might not necessarily be the only future, but they're a massive future, and they're growing and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as more people grow up, because there's going to be people like, there's like people like, I'm 31, right? So people that are, I'd say like 25 and over, were not really always raised on a phone. They were not really raised on the internet. Like I still remember times whenever we didn't have the internet back in the day. Like it was the Stone Ages, right? We had to, you know, like go to school in like the Flintstones car and you know, crack rocks together to start a flint to you know, start a fire to cook our food. You know, this is what we used to have to do in the 90s. But after that, obviously things changed and they got a lot different. And so people like my age are not conditioned. They're not conditioned to buy microtransactions. They're not conditioned to pay money for online value-add services in video games. This conditioning has not been applied to them, and it's like religion, for example. A lot of religion is kids are indoctrinated into religion because it's a lot easier to indoctrinate a kid into religion, and then there's going to be less dissonance they're going to have growing up against what they're learning because they don't have a frame of reference to base it off of. So what's happening with like what's happening with these games is that kids are playing them whenever they're very young, and then they grow up and then they spend money on them because it's the logical progression of what they've been conditioned to do throughout their life. And I think this is going to happen more and more as people get older, as we get older, and as the people who are 6 right now, like a kid that's 6 right now isn't going to be doing shit. But there's going to be 10 years from now, whenever he's 16, and he's working at McDonald's for, you know, $385 an hour, which is the new minimum wage. And, you know, he's able to buy a few things on the Raid Shadow Legends store. Because he's grown up and he's been conditioned to do that, and all of his friends do that, and it's normal. And there's also going to be, this is what's going to happen too, is you're going to see, and we've already seen this, you're going to see classism with this. And we already saw this with Fortnite, where like kids would get made fun of for only having default skins and stuff like that because their parents wouldn't buy them the cool new one. And I think this is going to become even more common because classism manifests itself everywhere. It manifests itself in video games. It manifests itself in real life. Like people drive expensive cars, they wear expensive clothes. Why? Is the car that much better or the clothes that much better? No, but they are, and they want everybody to know it because they're spending that much money on a car. So that's what I think is going to happen with video games too. And you've already started to see this happen with like Lost Ark, and you've also started to see this happen with people rationalizing purchases in Blizzard games like store mounts and things like that. If you go and you look at the comments, you will see a lot of comments that somebody complains about the mount, and then somebody says, well, at least I'm not a broke bitch and I can afford it. So it's becoming a status symbol to spend money on video games now. And companies are trying to create this as much as possible by creating so many visual points of difference between people who are spending money and people who are not spending money, as to make the people who are not spending money feel inferior while not necessarily telling them that directly. So this is going to be very common. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's important to know that it's happening and know that this is coming up, and it's already been coming up. It's creeping up, and people don't realize it yet. And by the time that they do, it might be too late. And I don't think that there is anything you can really do to stop it, because it's something that preys on fundamental human psychology, in my opinion. The willingness and the want to rise above others, the willingness to try to rank yourself among other people. You see this, right? People try to rank themselves however. Viewer Andes, subscriber Andes, bigger number, better person, salary, how tall you are, how much you weigh, how big your boobs are, what your IQ is, how much you can bench press. Everybody tries to create a quantifiable metric that they can consider themselves superior or inferior to other people based off of. This is just the way that people work. So I think it's going to become even more common, and video games are just going to be a new avenue to do that. And so, yeah, I mean, Diablo Immortal, it's kind of a bit of a tangent, but I think you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. Third generation responsibility, get the law to prohibit microtransaction shit. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's important to have laws that make it as ethical and as controlled as possible, because while I have no sympathy whatsoever for people who are stupid who spend money on this stuff, I think it's totally fucking fine. And I legitimately don't care if they waste their money or they lose their money, because I think they're stupid. And I look at gambling as a stupid tax. The dumber you are, the more you pay. So I don't really fundamentally feel sorry for them. However, I don't think that's the way that the world should work, right? Like, you can very easily see that this is not something that's healthy for society, even though I don't personally have any sympathy for them, if that makes sense. Most people are brain dead. Yeah, that's all there is to it. RNG part needs to go for sure. Yeah, I agree. I think so. I'd like to see that happen for sure. Oh, spending money on something you like and brings you joy stupid? Because I find it to be harmful, and I think that people do it with false misconceptions. They do it because they are addicted to it. They do it because they are... I actually think that this is something that I haven't really talked about a whole lot. But I think that a fundamental flaw with a lot of people who are gamblers is narcissism. And I think that gambling exploits narcissism more than it exploits anything else. Because these are people who believe that they're lucky. These are people who believe that they're special. They're the ones that are going to win. And I think that's how it takes advantage of them. Because you can even tell them a statistic like it's 1 in 10,000, and they'll think, yeah, but I'm the 1 in 10,000, right? And this is what these people do to themselves. So I don't think it's necessarily good, or I think you can make that argument with drugs. You can make that argument with pretty much anything that could have potentially negative impacts on your life. And I think it's up to the society in general to look at what is a healthy thing for the world to have. And it's not gambling if you know you're going to win. True. Yeah, I think they need to be regulated. I think that really, I mean, you want to talk about the birds popping off? I'm about to get the gun. I'm going to pop off myself. That keeps up. I'm going to just get his ass. There's a whole lot of them, aren't they? I'm going to pop his ass off. Just kidding. I don't even have a gun. I'll have to throw my axe at him. Yeah. And let's see here. Video games, you don't need something in a virtual space. Okay, all right, so we're off in Fantasyland today. That's great. Well, I'm glad that we're having such an important conversation here. Yeah. So anyway, the Q even be no, it's totally okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. Valheim, 10 million copies sold. That's right. And so yeah, that's all it really comes down to. Opinions on Grey Items being added to Transmog. I think that's good. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I paid money to buy content. Oops. It's the way it goes. But the virtual space is better than real life. I think that's going to continue to become the case as real life becomes more and more dystopian. You're going to see more and more people try to move towards the internet space. I think that's what's going to happen for sure. Elon Musk buy Twitter, your opinion? Yeah, let's talk about that. And just, yeah, in general, I think mobile games, I'd like to see, I think one thing that a lot of us can all agree on is that buying something in a video game that has an uncertain outcome, like a loot box, is gambling. It is gambling. And in my opinion, it's not as bad as slots. It's not as bad as something like that because there is a 100% chance that you will not make your money back. There is not an opportunity for you to make your money back, so I don't find it as insidious as something that you play with real money to get real money back out of it. However, that doesn't mean that it's good. I still think that it's bad, and I think it would be better if things like that did not exist. And I think if the companies made laws against it, the game developers would have to change the way they design games to make them more ethical and fair for players. So yeah, that's what I hope happens. NFT fixes this? Yeah, I've heard that it fixes a lot of things. I'm waiting for that to actually happen, though. Let's see here. Should be illegal to target children with gotcha systems. Yeah, just like cigarettes. NFTs to solve world hunger. True. Yep, absolutely. But overusing gambling microtransactions for just playing the games. More apps are using that system. Microtransactions is how to progress in any game. Yeah, that's what's going to keep happening because the people, what you have to understand is that the people that run the government don't know how the internet works. So like just start off assuming that the person who writes the laws that you live your life according to has to be told how to use different apps on their phone by somebody who's as old as their daughter or granddaughter. Okay, you have to understand that they are just so stupid, so completely disconnected from technology. And the worst thing about it is that they don't realize it. They don't even know how stupid they are because they're in their own little world where everybody tells them how important they are constantly and tells them that they're smart. So yeah, I think this is a huge problem. I do. I've talked about this many times. Gambling is a fundamental idea. Yes, it is. Gambling gets programmed into children whenever they're young. Look at Pokemon cards, Kinder eggs. Yeah, I mean, I think so. But, I mean, it's always easy to draw parallels and draw paradigms to other things. But I think that whenever you do that, you get so mired down in exceptions and, correlations and things like this that no action ever really occurs. Look, wait for the next generation. These old farts that we have will be dead. What makes you think that we'll be any better? Don't you think that that generation of old fucks thought the same thing about the old fucks that were, old fucks whenever they were young fucks? Yeah, it's just going to happen again. Yeah, I'm not. I don't really have like a lot of faith in that at all. Yeah, but we're gonna do it different. Yeah, sure. Okay. Anyway, now let's talk about something else. The reason why I stream on 2 separate channels. The reason why is because I sometimes will go live on this channel if there's like news or something like that I want to talk about, but I don't want to go live on my main channel because people have like more expectations for like a certain kind of stream. So that's why. It's kind of just like a stream that I use just basically for, hey, I'm recording this and now it's easier to put it on YouTube. It's that simple. We saw congregation, more education and younger representatives, but yeah, it'll happen again. Yeah, for sure. I don't want to get through, go through a bunch more of that stuff, but I think that's what it is. People making fun of NFTs 100% worse than people actually talking about NFTs, insufferable. I think that a lot of people don't want to be talked down to by some 19-year-old who thinks he's going to be the next Jordan Belfort because he has a special picture for a profile picture. Like nobody wants to be talked down to by a person like that. It's funny for people to see a person like that fail, because they will, because they're stupid. And people love seeing NFT bros and like these people that are like investing in these like bullshit cryptos. Like I see them all the time, like tweets about it, like, oh, I lost all my money, my account got hacked, and people are like, haha, fuck you. That's what you get. That's what's going to happen. Let's see here. That's why you two-factor, kids. That's why you sim swap. Come on. Let's see here. Do you live next to a hospital? No, I just live in a poor part of town. So yeah, anyway, let's go over and talk a little bit about Twitter. Now today, correct me if I'm wrong, Twitter has announced that Elon Musk is buying it. Am I right about this? Like, this is like it's not super finalized, but like it's been announced. He is buying Twitter. Yes, this is right. He is buying Twitter, and this has been something a lot of people have wanted. Now, what's going to happen in this case? I don't really know. Is this going to be a case of meet the old boss, same as the new boss? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss? I think it could be, yeah, for sure. Are we going to have... I know he said he's not going to come back, but I don't believe him. I honestly think it will be so fucking funny the day that he gets unbanned. And you know who I'm talking about. That will be a day of reckoning. That will be a day of vengeance, of blood on the streets, of this man returning to the mortal realm. Oh, man. I don't... Headlines for weeks. Like, Return of the King. Oh, my God. It's so... And it's like... The fact that I know this is true is because all of you guys are saying... Like, everybody knows who I'm talking about. Everybody knows 100% who I'm talking about. Like, yeah. Like, the moment that he comes back, it all bets are off. All bets are off. Like, you thought that things were bad now. You thought things were crazy now. You thought people lost their minds. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. It's going to get a whole lot better. And so, he's not coming back. That's what he says. That's what he says. I think he will. I think he will. I know he has a new platform, Truth Social, and look, this is the problem with like every platform that gets created, like whether it's Odyssey or BitChute or Truth Social or whatever one of these, Gab. They're basically just places for people that get banned on Twitter or YouTube to go and complain about Twitter and YouTube. Like, they don't have their own real identity other than being counter to the identity of the website that they were derived from. So, like, Truth Social isn't going to go anywhere. It's a stupid fucking name. Nobody cares about Truth Social. What about people that just want to talk about cars? Like, it doesn't appeal to them. Like, this is just simply for people that believe they're being, persecuted by Twitter or whatever. So it's a very stupid name. Trump's done a lot of stupid things. It's not a surprise recently. So I'm not going to get too far into that, but I think in general, whenever he gets unbanned... Oh my God. And you know what's so funny to me? Is that you're going to hear all of these fucking commentators. You're going to hear all of these people, and they're going to say, oh, I really hope they don't unban him. I really hope they don't unban Trump. Please don't unban Trump. MSNBC, CNN, these people, these different, like, like really popular, like liberal people on Twitter. No. They are secretly thinking to themselves, please unban him. Please unban him. My impressions will never be higher if you unban him. Oh my God. Like, imagine, like, the amount of the news stories that they can run. Trump, like, that's it. Like, you don't even have to write the news anymore. Trump does it for you. And it doesn't matter he's not president anymore. It's like you wake up, new tweet, it's in all caps lock, it's about Ukraine and saying Putin is, just like George Washington. Boom, there it is. Headline, done. You can go back to bed. You don't have to work about reporting. You don't have to try to come up with a compelling story. You don't have to do any of this. All you have to do is take his tweet and say, like, wow, can you believe what he said today? And then everybody else in your audience is like, I can't believe what he said today. That's awful. Oh, god damn. I'm going to tune in tomorrow to see what he says then. This is just making me so mad I can't stop looking at it. So this is the best thing that could happen for like the very left wing and like progressive media is for Trump to get unbanned. I'm not even kidding you. They will never run out of content. There will be like it's the best thing that they can possibly have happen to them is for Trump to get fucking unbanned. Yeah, that's what it is. They want him unbanned to get something to talk about. Exactly. Yes. And a good meme game you get elected to. Yeah, sure. And left wing media. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's like, don't you think the right-wing media is upset that Obama isn't saying a bunch of stuff anymore? It sucks. Like, Obama stopped being president, and he pretty much just fucked off. He takes pictures with his family, and, every once in a while he supports something that's, like, really kind of hard to say that it's bad. That's awful. Like, yeah, he hardly does anything. Like, no, he didn't. He pretty much did. Like, I mean, compared to Trump, holy shit. Bro. Like, that's what it is. Like, yeah, Obama controls Biden. Yeah, sure, he's Netflix now. Yeah, what I'm saying is that, like, of course the right-wing media love Obama. Because, like, the guy's black, and so there's a lot of people that are fucking racist that watch that shit. And so they're waiting to see what this guy did bad because they don't like black people. And then there's other people that don't like his policies, and they don't like that either. And so you've got all these people that are clamoring to find out what the next bad thing that Obama does, but he posts a picture of his family, and it's like, well, fuck. Now what? Now what? Like, what's this? Like, they can't, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, okay, birth certificate, huh? Yeah, where's that birth certificate, huh, Barry? Yeah, true, I get it, right? I understand, but like what I'm saying is these people don't really have a lot of, they don't have a lot to go off of. And cries about global warming, buys a huge house on the beach. Yeah, of course. Of course he's gonna do that. Like, I don't know, like, don't ever expect people to be consistent. If you expect people to be consistent in their beliefs versus their actions, all you're doing is just making yourself mad. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're not helping yourself. You're not, you're not calling anything out. Like, you're just making yourself mad. There's no reason to try to expect that. Let's see here. Can't buy a house on the beach now. It doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about it. You're super consistent, though? Well, I am consistent. I am extremely consistent. Because it's like a pyramid of values. And it's like all of the other values are down here. And then the very top of the pyramid is, does this benefit me? And if it does, then I do it. And I never betray that value. I never do. Think about it. That's a value I never betray. So I'm very consistent. It's just the values have a tier system. That's all there is to it. Yeah, and then right under, is this beneficial to me? Is this content? Right? So like if something's content, then who cares? It's content. Let's think about what matters. Let's see here. Why do you sound like Kyrie and Owls today? Because I'm outside and there's birds. So yeah, people are very upset. There are some people who are very upset about Elon Musk buying Twitter. They said, I can't believe people are okay with this for the billionaire to have your, a billionaire to just have control over Twitter. I wonder who they thought were running it before then. Like, what do you think it was? What do you think it was, like a co-op in Portland, Oregon that grows their own green, like green peppers? Do you think they were running Twitter? They run a feminist bookshop, and then they also run Twitter on the side? No, it's just a bunch of fucking billionaires already. It's just a different billionaire. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So the way that I look at it is this. I'm glad Elon Musk is buying Twitter. I think Twitter's been a cesspool. I think that there needs to be more accountability. Twitter has become more and more powerful over the years. Every company has a Twitter. Every politician has a Twitter. Everybody has a Twitter. Twitter is a massive fucking thing. I've said this before. I know it's going to make people mad. I don't care. I think the government should regulate social media. I don't trust Elon Musk entirely. I don't trust Bill Gates. I don't trust Jack Dorsey. I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg. I don't trust any of them. And you know why? It's because they're not accountable to anyone. If they fuck up or they do something wrong, it doesn't really fucking matter. There's no one that's going to, hold them accountable to this at all. Government, however, you do have a vote on this. I've said this many times. Government got rid of slavery 150 years ago. Private companies do it now. So you can't really do anything whenever a private company does something bad. You have no recourse. And fact is that these countries, other countries besides America, they have ownership in Twitter. There are people that are, foreign people that have ownership in Twitter. Well, how do you think this is a good thing for the United States here to have Twitter that has ownership, that Twitter that helps decide elections and is impactful in elections, owned by people in other countries? I don't think so. Yeah, I certainly fucking don't think so. So I think this is a very dangerous thing. I think Twitter is extremely dangerous, and I think that basically people are looking at Elon Musk as kind of, it's like, what's an example of this? Twitter's international though? Yeah, but it's an American company. And it's like, if you can take advantage of something, you should. I'm trying to think of like a good way to put this. They trust him to handle the burden of that accountability and that line more than they trust the current Twitter. I think this is probably true. I think people get banned and they get removed without really much of a reason, especially for political speech. I think that we can all pretty much agree that speech that incites violence or civil unrest is harder to really quantify, but especially speech that is calling for violence is something that many of us don't support. I personally don't. But other than that, there's a lot of things like, what is misinformation? Some things are misinformation that many people believe. And I think that it's dangerous to have a company that has really no oversight or accountability being the arbiters of what's true and what's not true, with no accountability to the government in a country where the government should have some control over what happens. So yeah, that's the way I see it. I think it's very important. Misinformation and censorship, pretty easy. Well, the thing is that everybody has a different idea of what misinformation is. Like people, you have to understand is we live in a post-truth society. It's a post-fact society. What people think is true is more important than what is true. So it doesn't really matter whether you think something is misinformation or not. What matters is whether the people that are in control allow you to say it. That's all there is to it. So whenever I see this kind of stuff, misinformation equals info liberals don't agree with, and there's a lot of people that believe that. And I think this is the fact. I think there are a lot of people that over the years are tired of being condescended to by what they consider to be, Hollywood elites, media elites, mainstream media, politicians that are popular with the media. They see this group of people, and they see these people who have this enormous amount of privilege and power constantly tell them that because of some circumstance of their birth, whether it's because they're a guy, white, or whatever, that somehow they feel like they're being attacked. People are just tired of seeing this. They're tired of seeing this, and so they just want to change. They are willing to elect the nuclear option. Elon Musk is absolutely not, that is not a flawless person. He's just simply a person. And so is he going to make all the right decisions? I would pretty much expect not, because he's one guy. Mistakes are going to happen, absolutely. But people are just so fucking tired of it. It's the same thing that happened with Donald Trump. Donald Trump was in no way, shape, or form an ideal candidate, but people voted for him because they didn't like Hillary Clinton. That's the reason. And I think there are a lot of people that felt that way. They don't like being talked down to. They don't like the way that their lifestyle is being perceived and, portrayed in media. They don't like this. And so it doesn't really matter to them what's good or what's not good. So I hear about like there's an expose on Elon Musk coming up. Let me just tell you something. If we find out that Elon Musk killed somebody and skinned them alive tomorrow, he would lose no support. Whenever Trump said he could shoot somebody in Times Square and get away with it, he was right. The reason why he stopped being able to get away with it is because he started losing. If you want people to like you, win. If you want people to hate you and resent you, lose. It's that simple. That's crazy. Watch it happen. Everybody knows Bill Clinton probably got people killed back in the day. People love Bill Clinton. He's great. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. No, they don't. A lot of people do, and they don't care. They don't care. It doesn't matter to them at all. It's completely irrelevant. Who loves any Clinton? I think there's a lot of people that are 35 and up that if Bill Clinton ran for president again, they'd vote for him. Like, yeah, you know, Bill, that was the good days, right? You know, back in the 90s, get your dick sucked. What's wrong with that? Yeah, I think he'd probably win, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, this is, I love Bill Clinton as president. Yeah, a lot of people like him. And as I said, people think that this is not true. They think, oh, no, that's not what's going to happen. I guarantee you it will. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. And so this is, I don't think people really care about Elon Musk's character that much. I don't think they really care about anything else. All they care about is they see a group of people that they resent getting fucked. And they're happy about this. They don't care about the morality of it. They don't care about the justice of it. And if anything, they want it to be unfair. They want it to be immoral because it makes them feel good viscerally. So that's what's going to happen. I think, and this is why, like, all of the news sources, and by the way, I don't want anybody to think that, this is only a small group of people. No, it's the majority of people. It's the actual majority of people think like this. I think it's a very high majority, like 70-80% of people think like this. And now some people think like this on the opposite direction, but they still think like this. So, yeah, that's true in my case. Yeah, exactly. And so people, they don't care about what Elon Musk said. They don't care. There's nothing it doesn't matter. Like, it just simply doesn't matter to them. It's just like Trump. And so this is what's going to happen. 80% of people don't know Jack. Well, I think that they do know. They just don't care. It's just not as important to them as how things make them feel. And that's what matters more than anything else. Financing for the deal, maybe liquidating, great deal of Tesla stock, margin call. I don't know what the details are. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, and video on Elon talks about how he harassed someone and the comments are full of compliments. Yeah, if Elon, yeah, exactly. People don't care because they want him to harass the people that they don't like. How do you think we got public executions? It's because people wanted to see those guys get killed. They wanted to watch it. They used to bring their kids. Yeah, they used to bring their kids to public executions back in the day. What do you think? All these people are just gone? You think that, oh, wow, we're better than this now? No. No, I don't think so at all. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a lot of great content. I really do. I think it's going to be some incredibly great content. So we'll see how this goes. And I hope it goes well. I mean, I like Twitter a lot. I use Twitter all the time. I spend at least 3 hours a day probably on Twitter. So it's in my best interest that Elon Musk makes Twitter good. And I think it's funny to see people that had a previous hegemony over the transmission of information, losing that hegemony and then losing their minds about it. I think that's funny. And so we'll see what happens. So yeah, I think it's going to be great. I do. I think it's going to be great. And if Twitter gets ruined and it's a huge fucking flaming ball of fire and everything is destroyed, that's nice. It's whatever. We had fun. It was fun, at least. That's good. But I don't think that really that's going to happen. I think like any of these negative articles about Elon Musk, like if you look at any of them, almost every single one of them is like ratioed, like massively fucking ratioed, because people just are simply, they are just simply not interested in hearing the mainstream media's opinion about stuff anymore. They simply do not care. They don't trust the mainstream media. whether it's CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, that they don't want to hear it. Yep, just get them out of here. That's all there is to it. And I think this is also true on the left. I remember, didn't BLM almost burn down an entire CNN building? I remember they went and they broke out all the windows in front of it. So I think people all over the political spectrum are just fucking tired of this shit. And they're tired of being talked down to by mainstream media. They're tired of having elites. I think in this case, liberal elites tell them that it's not a big deal, and paying $60 or $100 for a tank of gas is a sacrifice they're willing to make while they're making a video about this in their penthouse that's worth $5 million. Meanwhile, some guy who has to drive to work at 4:30 in the morning can barely even afford it as it is. People are just fucking tired of it. And I think this is why they're happy about Elon Musk. They look at him as, in some degrees, an executioner. And I think people are really, really excited. That's what I think. He's firing the entire board. And people will be so happy. They'll be thrilled. They'll be overjoyed. Will he execute though? Well, if anybody will, it'll be him. Asmon's full MAGA, cool. No, not really. I voted for Trump the first time. I didn't vote the second time. He didn't do what I thought he would do. He acted like a clown. He fucked too many things up, and he made a fool of himself. I gave him a chance. He fucked it up. I wasn't happy. That's all there is to it. I didn't vote at all in 2020. I didn't vote for Biden either. Yeah, I would have thought. Yeah, I've said that many times. Our economy was good though. I view the economy as an echo effect. So like something that people do in the economy will have like a ripple effect, like years down the line. It's the same as like Obama got blamed for a lot of like Bush's failures in the economy because they happened in Obama's years technically. I would not say all of Trump's success in the economy was because of Trump. Did Corona fuck him for a second term? Yeah, I think so. I think if Corona didn't happen, he'd still be president. Trump's policies were a cause of the good economy. The economy was already going up before Trump was president. I'm not going to argue about this. I'm just going to say that I felt like there were a lot of things. Like I expected, here's one of the big things. I expected Trump to regulate social media. Because Trump uniquely understands media better than almost anybody else in the whole world. And he should have known, and he didn't. Fuck him. He should have known. He should have known this. He tried? Oh, he tried. Fuck you. I don't want to have somebody who tries. I want to have somebody who gets it done. You know, Obama tried to get the troops out of Iraq. He tried. I don't give a fuck about trying. You either get it done or you don't. Participation medal. Yeah, he tried, guys. He tried. Nothing he does being blocked by Senate. I think that if somebody else was in charge that was less ego-driven and more methodical and tactical with what they were doing, they would have been more successful than Trump was. And I think that it was something that made everybody look bad over the years. I feel like if you would put, I can't really think of like who would you say would be in charge. I think if FDR was there, FDR would have made it happen. I'll tell you that. Yeah, he would have made that shit happen for sure. It wouldn't have mattered what other people thought. So yeah, JFK, they shot him, so that didn't work. Let's see here. Problem is, when I vote like that, I don't want to talk about a whole lot of presidents and stuff like this, like politics. Who gives a fuck? All I'm really saying here is that I think that a lot of people are tired of bullshit like this. They're tired of it, and they're looking for they're looking for a replacement to this kind of behavior, and this is going to become more and more the case over the years. And I think this is a good thing. I do. I think it's a very good thing, and hopefully it will continue. People should not be okay with how things are. I don't like how things are at all, and that's about it. I like seeing things get shaken up. I think that the longer you have power like this without accountability, the more it turns into tyranny. If you want to mess with Twitter free speech place, he needs to make it open source. If he doesn't, he's lying. I don't know. People will create reasons for that. Yeah, for sure. Russell Brand is killing it lately. I see his YouTube videos are doing pretty well, yeah. I used to watch the Trues about 10 years ago. Open source is buzzword. What does that even mean? I don't know. People want confirmation bias. Yeah, of course they do. Of course, absolutely. So yeah, that's generally how I feel about the Twitter stuff. I think this is a good thing. I'm glad things are being shaken up. That's all it really comes down to. Let's read a few comments here. Let's see. Just see crazy threats from QuantumTV towards Act, man. Yeah, so I'll talk about this for a minute. I'll probably just get into that more tomorrow. There's a lot of drama, like, oh my god, there's so much stuff I have to get into tomorrow morning. Oh my god. So QuantumTV got Actman's mother's phone number and texted her something that I would interpret as a threat. Or at least a threat of a threat. Tried to intimidate her. And so, yeah, he got her phone number. And so Actman said, if, he comes anywhere near their house, that he's going to shoot Quantum. I hope he lives in Texas. I think that'd be great. What a piece of shit to do that. What a piece of shit to try to intimidate somebody's mother. Wow. Yeah, who the fuck is Actman Quantum? I think, yeah, fair, fuck him, exactly. Quantum drama is entertaining, not gonna lie. Exactly, yeah, guy ain't right? No, he's not. He's not at all. Well, screw that dude, yeah. That's what it is. How the fuck did he get the number? He's probably not stupid in that way. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like crazy socially, but they're not stupid. How do people think it's okay? Where are all the people that defending him now? The people only defended Quantum because he aligned with their political views, because he didn't like woke stuff. They didn't actually agree with anything Quantum was saying or think that he was even in the right mindset. They were just glad to hear somebody speaking out against woke culture. And it's the same thing, ironically, what I talked about with Trump and Elon Musk. Right? They'll like, think about it. With Quantum is a great example, right? Is like, you have this guy who's an obvious fucking nutcase. Like, the biggest obvious fucking nutcase you can ever imagine. And people will still make excuses for him and still side with him because he aligns with their political views. He wants what I want. He hates who I hate. I don't like her stuff, but I don't wish death on them or call them a source openly. I think that if you text somebody what he texted the guy's mom, I think that's fair to wish death on him. For Actman to feel that way, I'd feel that way if somebody texted my mom that stuff. Yeah, I'd fucking hate him too. I'd feel the exact same way that he did. Absolutely. Could you involve the police now? No, the police aren't going to do anything. It's not a credible enough threat because there's no actual planning behind it, and the police aren't going to do anything. The most they could get is a restraining order, and if somebody's actually looking to commit violence, violence is against the law, so a restraining order wouldn't really be a deterrent. In a situation, you don't try to be the better man. No, I don't think so. I think that it's not about being the better man. It's not up to Actman to take one on the chin or turn the other cheek whenever somebody threatens somebody in his life on a personal level and involves them, I think that's a line you don't cross. And I think that the way that you deal with that level of escalation is also further escalation to show people that it's not okay. Restraining orders are meant to put people in jail after they violate the order. Yeah, exactly. What's the line to cross? Yeah, it's a line to be crossed. He tells me he texted his mom. You look at his Twitter, I don't know what it is. I forgot what the actual words were, so I don't want to misquote it. Words never ever justify violence. Somebody threatens you or implies a threat, I think that justifies violence, absolutely. Somebody threatens me, they say something like that, especially to my mom. No, Yep, nope, you don't say that. Don't say it. You ever get the hair person thing? Not yet. Threaten something's close to your relative, it's implied violence. Yeah, it's too much, man. People who say words don't deserve violence, privileged assholes. No, I think they're right 99.9% of the time. Like, if someone makes you mad, or like is calling you a name, or like says something that upsets you on the internet, and you threaten them with violence, I think you should get banned. Like 100%. It doesn't matter like how mad they made you or what they called you. Like, you should not ever, like, we used to have a rule in my high school because people got killed in my high school, and we had a police station on the campus. If you touched somebody or put your hands on somebody, you were gone. Period. You were gone. Like, it didn't matter, oh, he made me mad, or oh, he was disrespecting me. Keep your hands to yourself. And people there had a yeah, we had that. Yep, that's right. And there were no fights, really. Very, very few fights. Maybe one a year, but that's not it. Skip beating ass. Go straight to killing someone because they hurt your mom's feelings. Get out of here. Well, yeah. I mean, well, it's not like because they hurt your mom's feelings. It's like what they said, right? Is like if you say like, oh, we don't want anybody to get hurt, and somebody like if somebody texted me like, oh, well, we don't want anybody to get hurt out of this drama, and they texted that to my mom, I would want to kill them. Straight up, no questions asked. I would absolutely want to kill them. Now, could I do that? No, I couldn't do that, right? But I would want to. Absolutely. Yeah, you don't cross that line. You don't go into my personal life and do that. Quinn disagrees. He says people who are obnoxious should be assaulted in public. I don't agree with that. No accountability. Government doesn't control social media. Be unaccountable to everybody's government. Couldn't be worse than what we have now. I just want about that action. Well, it's not like I'd want to do that, right? It's just I just don't think you should threaten people like that, especially not their family members. That's way too much. Any personal responsibility? Yeah. Want to step down the line, Ackman should take action. The thing is that there's no way that he can really take action, because what Quantum said is not a credible threat. Like, the police won't do anything. Like, and if you don't believe me, look at some of the stories that these girls have had trying to get the police to deal with stalkers. Like, there are these girls that, like, they have stalkers, and these people are just like going crazy and like harassing them constantly, and nothing ever happens to them. Yeah, there's never any repercussions or consequences to this because they don't do. The police can only act in very limited ways. They don't show us stalkers, exactly. Not enough women on the force. Well, it's the way the law is written, to be honest. Like, I think that, like, yes. Sure, I think it's a matter of empathy to a certain degree, yeah. But it's also a matter of the way the law is written. They never do anything about my Instagram DMs? Yeah, they're not going to do shit. I think taking drama to real life family is really fucked up. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it too. Somebody does this absolute piece of shit. I totally agree. Actman should move on. Stop getting quantum platform stand on. Content was fun though. I don't think Actman should do anything other than respond in the most aggressive and hostile way possible. I think that, like, if I was him, I would do everything in my power to shut that person down. Yeah, it's not his responsibility to dial things back because somebody else doesn't know boundaries. Who's involved to threaten a person and show up in real life? Yeah, it's just not going to happen. But yeah, Quantum's going to get banned 100%. You think responding that way will validate how Quantum feels and empower him? I don't really think so, no. Quantum claims to be hacked for all the bad things he said. Yeah. We all know if Hackman said he stopped countering Quantum, we all know Quantum would make a video and saying this is what happens when you mess with me, I win. Well, not only that, is that, like, people like this will always go to the next person. It's not like this is the only time that it's ever going to happen to Quantum. Like, he'll intimidate somebody else. He'll do this to somebody else. Like, this is a problem that's going to continue happening. I don't get threatened, I don't fuck with people. Yeah, it doesn't happen to me either, really. What happens after the ban, though? Who cares? I mean, that's what happens. Yeah, he comes back. Yeah, he comes back. They ban him again. It's just going to keep happening. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I think. And so yeah, it's just, that's the way it goes. Actman's wrong for responding to Quantum threatening him. It's just people that try to always look on the people. Some people are so open-minded that their brain falls out. I think that people also. The thing is, like, it sounds really insane to, like, say that you'd want to kill somebody for doing that, but for most of the people that say that this is a bad thing to say, like, they've never been in this position personally. They've never been threatened in real life by somebody like this. Like, this is just not something that happens to a normal person. And so, like, it's very easy to say that, like, oh, well, I would handle it differently, or, oh, I wouldn't feel that way, while you're sitting safely in your home without a presence online, without your family members at risk, without them being contacted. It's very easy to say this because it's just a situation that you can't relate to at all. So yeah, it's like a you know, you can sit up in an ivory tower and condemn this, but it's just some people don't have that freedom. Strike differently when it's towards you? Yeah, exactly. It fucks people's head up a lot. I think people don't really even understand, like, how dangerous and, like, harmful that could be. He didn't really threaten him there. He messaged his mom. That was threatening, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say so too. Comes down to lack of empathy. I think that it does come down to empathy to an extent, but I think a big factor of it is that people just can't. It's very hard for people to put themselves in the shoes of another person and think the way they think, or to try to understand the way that they think. And like, I even tried to do this with Quantum whenever this drama first happened. I did. Over a video game review? Yep, exactly. Is there anything we can do to help him get banned? It'll just take YouTube some time to work it out. It's not. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It'll happen probably in like a few days. Principle should trump empathy at some point. What principle? The principle of being a victim, of allowing yourself to be a victim. I disagree. So yeah, just in general, like, creatures came from a bad Elden Ring take. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. What do you think about streamers showing the Depp trials? I've seen some big ones doing it today. I was surprised that it was even televised to begin with. I think it's something that everybody wants to see because they don't like Amber Heard, and I think that a lot of guys, especially, you know, it's very cathartic for them to see somebody like Johnny Depp, you know, a man who really, I mean, is a man with his own problems and his own demons, but not an evil, abusive, bad person, be exonerated for these actions and false accusations. Because I think a lot of men either have been in this situation or know somebody in this situation. That's my case. Like, for example, like my dad, there was one time, this was like back in like the 50s or the 60s, this girl and like this black guy were like getting it on like out in the woods somewhere, and like the police came, and then the girl said that like he raped her, and then my dad was like, that's not what happened, right? Like, because he saw what happened. And straight up, they would have killed that guy. They would, because this is like Florida back in the 1960s, right? So pretty much like the 1860s. And so they would have killed that guy if it wasn't for my dad being there, because they just automatically take their word for it. Like, as I said, man, this girl beat the shit out of my friend Jeff. It was his ex-wife, and she beat the shit out of him at a club. Cops show up, Jeff ends up in the car. I think there's a lot of guys that watch the Johnny Depp trial, and they see what they've wanted to see for a long time, and that's justice. So that's why. It's still common in today's Florida. That's spoken like somebody who's 19 and got raised on the internet. Yeah. You have no idea how bad it was. My dad has told me about it a lot. And even I have no idea. But at least I know that I have no idea. It's an internet take? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's why a lot of guys, that's why the content's so popular. I was watching, like, XQC was streaming it. I think Hassan looked at it a bit. And I think a lot of people are really happy to see this, especially guys. And I think it's also women, because it's like what happens is like every woman that's like actually abused, because this is what happens. Like, this isn't like a one-way street, by the way. Like, there are a lot of women who get abused, and then they have, you know, the cops just disregard them. You know, like this guy beats the shit out of him, and then he's laughing and talking with the cops, and then the cops let him off with like a warning. Like, this has happened before. I've heard of this. And so, like, this is not, and like the thing is, like, with these women, like a person like Amber Heard, actually does more harm to them than any man ever could, because what she's doing is she is devaluing and shedding a shroud of questioning on what they're doing, and so it makes them less credible. You see what I'm saying? Shitting? Yeah, literally shitting, exactly. Yeah, it's a deniability, discrediting. Oh, she's discrediting, like, I think that many people, this is like, the same as like they're happy about Johnny Depp, right? Because it's a guy. She's discrediting women entirely, right? And she makes people take it less seriously in general, because from now on, you're going to have guys that there's going to be a girl that gets abused, and it's legitimate, and they're going to say, well, I don't know, is this a real situation, or is it like one of those Johnny Depp things? That is 100% going to happen. And that's why I think a lot of women fucking hate her too. And they should. I think women should hate her a lot more than men do. Because men stand to lose, but women stand to lose equally more. Equally or more. Yeah, it's really bad. Was allegations made against somebody are forever guilty? Yeah, I know. It was during the Believe All Women phase too. Yeah, and I think that's a bad way to look at things. I think you can believe what people are saying without necessarily assuming that it's true. I think, like, for example, if somebody comes up with an accusation, it should be taken seriously, but it shouldn't be taken as truth, if that makes sense. I'm a woman and I hate her? Yeah, of course, right? Because a lot of women have, like, had to deal... It's really kind of scary whenever you think about, like, how many women have had to deal with abusive or crazy boyfriends or, like stalkers or something like this. If you don't believe me, like go talk to like, 5 girls in WoW. I feel like at least one of them will have had an experience like this, if not more. It's so common, it's scary. So women see this person, this, Amber Heard, and they're looking at this person with like all the privilege in the world, ruining a guy's life, and then subsequently devaluing and delegitimizing, in the eyes of the public, all women and all women's concerns. So yeah, I think this is a huge thing. It really is, and that's why so many people are paying attention to it. Should we take slander in these cases more seriously? It's tough. I think you should counter-sue her, yeah, for sure. But it's very hard to it's very hard to prove that. I think in Johnny Depp's case it is easier because he lost roles because of it. But in many regards it's not as easy. Especially whenever you consider like at-will employment and a lot of other protections that employers have in certain countries, or sorry, states here in the United States. What if he loses though? Well, it won't really matter. People have already decided that Johnny Depp is right. Bad apple would make women actually abused, much more vulnerable and unprotected. Yeah, exactly. Worse is that she respects women in domestic violence organizations. That's even more disgusting. Yeah. Absolutely. This live court is his case suing her, defamation case. I didn't know that. Yeah, I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it other than clips. Johnny Depp admitted he was no saint either. Yeah, I think I'm sure like he probably did some wrong things, but like there's a difference between like being kind of an asshole or whatever and like literally throwing a glass at somebody and then having it almost cut their finger off. Like these are just two different, it's way different. Mega pint, yeah. His finger was cut off. Well, you see what I'm saying though, right? Don't ever get married ever. No, I don't believe that. I think marriage is good. Yeah, I'm a fan of marriage. Marriage is good. It's a pro-marriage stream. Boomer take. Glad to have it. Good if you're a woman, yes. I disagree. The thing is, like, if you get married to a guy and you're 23 and you have like 2 or 3 kids with him, and then you get divorced, and let's say you don't get half of his stuff, that you probably had to leave your job to like have these kids and take care of these kids, your prospects of being able to you've been out of the workforce for years, your sexual attraction is lower because you're older, and this is just the truth. Let's just be honest here. And you also have kids that are going to make people even less likely to want to date you. So I think if you're a guy, you want to have a woman take that level of a chance on you and bet her future on you, you can afford to bet half your stuff on her too. I think that's fair. And most importantly, I think marriage is best for kids. And that's what really matters. I think there are exceptions though, of course. But that's just my general feeling on it. That's a terrible take, strange take. Yeah, sure. Sure, think whatever you want. I mean, then just don't get married, right? I mean, do whatever you want. That's how I see it. Yeah, that's how I see it. Weird champ take. Well, I mean, I think the amount of people that say weird champ take and bad take, if they really felt that way, they would, they really thought that was true. They'd give me an argument instead of saying that. But they're not, because they're just stupid and they don't know what they're talking about.
And we'll just be together and not get married. You do whatever you want to do. I would get married. Both side gambles. Yeah, it's a both side gamble, exactly. There's examples of good single parent households, but on average, two parent household ends up better. Yep, sure does. Saying things like weird champ and bag take, you're probably, yeah, you probably don't need to worry about getting married. True. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fucking fact. I don't believe in marriage because I grew up through my parents' divorce and how bad that process is. Seeing data over 50% of marriages fail. I'm willing to hedge my bets that I won't be on the good side. Wouldn't want my kids to go through that too. Yeah. A lot of people are stupid. That's true. Yeah, maybe don't get married to somebody you just met. So if you get married at some point, you're okay if she decides to leave you and take half your Twitch career income? Well, yeah, that's the way the law would be. I mean, I could also just marry another girl. Like, what if I went and I got married to a girl that was equally as successful as I am? Like, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like, why would I not just do that? A prenup? Yeah, you can do that too. I'm not. Yeah, Izzy's a hot blonde with big boobs, and she has an OnlyFans, so you can pretty much assume she makes a lot of money. But what I'm saying is like, there's a lot of people that make a lot of money too. I mean, like that's the reality. Mary Vebe since soda got banned. Yeah. Does you feel like kids and their parents are streamers? I don't think it really matters. Why instead of 50-50 should it be based on career prospects and income? I think it's fine the way it is. I think sometimes guys get fucked over. You're right about that. Like, I'm not saying like everything about it is good. I'm just saying like the general essence of it, I think I generally agree with. Yeah, I mean, there's never something that you can say and it's like, oh, this is always true. I mean, like, that's weird. How could you ever do that? Not sometimes, man. 80% of the time, guys get fucked. I think that's especially true with child custody court, and I think men should stand up for themselves more in that regard. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Probably alimony and stuff like that should be based on prospects. I don't know. I just think in general, a lot of dudes got fucked over on court. Yep. I think that guys should be way more discerning with like the kind of girls that they get in relationships with, etc. And I think that in many cases that doesn't happen. Especially nowadays, yeah. So that's about it. That's about all I've got. I wanted to make a video, talk about this stuff, and go over it all. But yeah, I think that's pretty much where we stand. Diablo Immortal, Twitter. I'll probably talk about the Blizzard earnings call tomorrow morning and go from there. But yeah, we had a good time today. We had a lot of fun. So thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. And looks like I'm not getting rained on anymore, so I'm going to go inside and just chill out, jerk off, and probably make a steak in a little while. All right, boys. See you tomorrow. Peace.